So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And if we are going to survive as individuals, if we're going to survive as a species, life has to be harder. It just has to be harder. There's no way that I can see around that. Now, as usual, I am Earthling, yada yada yada. And again, I have an MBA that I never really earned money from. I have a computer science degree that I earned money from that. Actually, not so much. But I did enjoy learning ballroom dancing. I did enjoy doing a little bit of gymnastics as a kid, being a scout, traveling different places around the world. Maybe I might cut that out. I don't know. I lost some weight, a lot of weight. And that's it for me. So what am I talking about? Why does life have to be harder for us to survive as a species? Well, or as individuals? Well, it's really clear that you can't eat whatever you want, however much you want of it, relax as much as you want, and just basically do whatever you want as an individual and have a pleasant, long-lived, healthy life. You just can't. You can't smoke as much as you want. You can't just do whatever you want. There are certain rules that you have to follow, even if it is going to be taking drugs to fix the things that went wrong because you were just doing whatever you want. Even if it comes straight down to that and you have to take your blood pressure medicine, or you have to take your heart medication, or whatever it is that a doctor is saying, or take a heart bypass surgery, whatever it is, we can't just do whatever we want. What I did think about the other day was that, isn't it funny how we take the bad drugs, we take the good drugs that are supposed to help us, like blood pressure medicine, like heart medicine, like, I don't know, whatever medicine, again, there is, so that we can continue to take the bad medicine, which is lots of red meat, bacon, just eating, drinking soda. Well, that's a bad one, but I drink soda myself. But just on the whole, eating as much as we want, drinking as much alcohol as we want, smoking as much as we want, in order to continue to take those bad medicines, we just add the good medicines on top of that, like if it's going to solve anything. Now, on a species-wise level, we have a lot of conveniences, right? You buy a car, you jump in the car, you drive wherever you want. You don't have to take any amount of time to recharge the car. You spend low amounts of money on energy. You rebuy a new car anytime you want. We travel across the country or across the world at the drop of a hat. If you're a celebrity, you commute. You commute by taking commercial airlines across the world. And every time you do that, you are using up as much fossil fuel as you might use up driving for an entire year in some of these long-haul flights. We can't have that kind of convenience and still survive as a species. Because of climate change, obviously, we're going to have to get our energy, hopefully, from renewable sources that are not going to release sulfur and carbon dioxide into the environment, and methane, and all these other things that, let's face it, we are not going to fix this problem. We aren't. But if we were to fix the problem, life would have to be more difficult. The price of energy can't be as low as we want it to be. It can't be all virtually free. Otherwise, we're just going to use as much of it as we want to, which basically means just flagrantly use stuff that we don't need to. And if you want to feel good about, the image that you see looking at you in the mirror, you can't eat whatever you want, whenever you want. If you want to live to a ripe old age, one of the things that they recommend is intermittent fasting, which is that, I guess you only eat during a certain short period of time during the day, not all throughout the day. If it is that you actually want your heart to be healthy and you want to avoid having any kind of heart issues later on in life, you have to exercise. There's no way around exercising. Even if it is that you also have to have a good diet whereby you're not continually consuming, high carbohydrate. Well, it's not just high carbohydrates, but foods that have a lot of cholesterol, triglycerides, that kind of stuff. We have to make sure that we get enough sleep. You can't just, burn the midnight oil or burn the candle at both ends and just keep going. Number one, well, I guess in that respect, that would be relaxing. That's not quite life becoming harder. But it is life becoming, maybe we're not going to have as much money as we wanted. Maybe at the end of the day, instead of being a millionaire like we always wanted to be, we're just going to have to be 100,000-aire or 10,000-aire, and realize that the number in our bank account does not say that we're a good person or a bad person or any type of person. It can't tell us that. It can't tell us if we are a success. It can't tell us if we are the quote-unquote loser. If it is that we really are doing what we're supposed to do in life. And I think one of the things is that we have to recognize that we are in uncharted territory. We have always been, as humans, as individuals, we've always been in uncharted territory because we haven't had some other dinosaur civilization to look at and see, or civilizations. But at the same time, we have other human civilizations that we can look at and see how they ended up and the things that they went through. And we can't see, for example, the kind of things that Rome would have done, kind of things that Greece would have done, the kind of things that people in China, people in Japan, people in Africa, we can learn from all of these different societies. And not even just societies, we can learn from the way that we see that people currently live, and not just assume that because somebody is wealthier than us, that is the right way to be. There are many things that we could probably be learning from people who are much, much poorer than us, who have much, much less in terms of capabilities of buying a new car and watching TV and Netflix, and even being a scientist, even being, a politician, being any of these different things in the modern world. We can look back because we have never been on a line that, in terms of wellness, in terms of improvement, It's never been one straight line that just goes up and up and up. Every time we have achieved some marker that we would think of as being an improvement or an advancement in life, it has come at horrible expense to something or someone else. When, colonization happened, that happened unsustainably at the expense of the indigenous people all over the world. And it wasn't going to be sustainable because there are no infinite number of worlds to go to. And when at some point we were able to use light past sunset, and we had like lamps in the industrialized world. We had lamps that we could use. There were street lights, there was candles and whatever that many people had in order to allow them to stay up late at night. That came at the cost of decimating the whale population around the world. That's why they were threatened. That's why they were endangered. And even then, the whole process of getting those whales, the people who had to go through the difficulties of whaling, it came at their expense. It came at the expense of the whales. It came at the expense of those people. Even the industrial era, where things became cheaper and we had access to more energy. Oliver Twist and is it the French Revolution? Did that have anything to do with the industrial age? Even the people who were supposed to benefit from these advancements, they didn't. There was a lot of people who, the nobility, the people who were just lucky enough, well, I guess that's nobility as well, to be in the right place at the right time, to become wealthy. They benefited on paper in terms of they had this lavish lifestyle that they couldn't really even take advantage of. Even now, what are you going to do with an 11-room mansion? Most of those rooms are going to be empty, night after night, day after day. Nobody needs that. People just need what they need when they need it. And to do that, we can easily share rather than making other people's lives less comfortable in order to have things that we don't need to have. And yes, we do make other people's lives less comfortable. For example, with respect to bananas, with respect to any other processed food, not just processed, but like cocoa, like coffee, like all of these things that are cheap, they come at the expense of keeping other people poor so that we don't have to pay that much for these items. And yet at the end of the day, we get older than we used to. Yes, we have more time on this planet than we used to. Okay, it's doubled, and we still have an infinity of being dead. So we have more time alive and almost the same amount of time that we would not exist in the future and didn't exist in the past. And I don't know, but life, we have to realize that we can't just be free. It's great, it's fantastic, but it has led us to a point that's unsustainable. And it's either we stop it on our own, or it gets stopped when there's nothing else, when there's some other thing that we need, whether it's phosphorus, whether it is oil, whether fossil fuels across the board, whatever it is, something is going to stop this train. And we can either have a nice, comfortable halt, or we can just crash and burn. That's it for me, guys. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Not do the reverse, any of those things. And yeah, please, I know I don't always, but please try and keep in mind that what you would like for yourself, that's what you should probably try to dole out to other people. So have a good one. Peace.